We have gathered here today to dearly beloved. We have gathered here today to get dearly beloved. We have gathered here today to get to this thing called
life.
Hello, everyone. This is your girl D.
This is King.
And welcome to this thing called Life. Today, we are blessed to have as our special guest, and we actually have a guest co-host as well, who I will start with. Our special guest co-host is Big Note from Slab Time. That's how everybody knows him in the indie area, but he is also the owner of Power 42 FM, where we air live. We are also blessed to have Mr. Shane Shepherd, who is, just an absolutely phenomenal blessing to the city of Indianapolis and the young Black men in the city. Mr. Shepherd, welcome, and we welcome the gentleman that you have with you today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and I'm sure they appreciate it as well.
Well, we want to start out by first asking you if you would let us know a little bit about your organizations and some of the things that you do with those organizations, and then we'll move on into dealing with being a good shepherd, which is basically, today's topic. Because I'm gonna stop right there because I almost went into the topic.
No, we're gonna let him go into the topic.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me. First of all, I don't know what I'm to get noticed by your organization or you guys, and I usually don't accept all invites, but something about your vibe and the vibe of your show may accept it. So I appreciate for being here, first and foremost. And I guess a little bit about me. I'm just a genuine dude from the inner city of Indianapolis with big dreams and big visions and never got to come to fruition because of the way I was raised. And then when I realized that was the reason for me not being able to become what I could have been, I decided to go back and pave the way for some other young men to be able to, I guess, at least acknowledge or know that there's other options and options out there besides the one that has been presented to them for so long. So with that being said, the organizational side of what I do, I took a foundation business class when I was in college, and it was one of the more eye-opening things that ever happened to me. I don't know if people realize it or not. But when I learned the way that business structures and the way that this corporation called is set up, that business and those structures, they go hand in hand. And so those structures became different entities. You know how people make, so to say, a ID or another social security number? I learned that these businesses are extensions of yourself. And when you do start extending yourself in the way that this government is set up, it's beneficial to you. And so my organization comes from me understanding A, business, and then B, finding where there's a need. So when I got to looking into what did I want to do with my business learnings, first thing I did was build a publishing company from the ground up. And I did that all while I was in the business class. So I decided to utilize all the people that I was in with to, lean on their knowledge and help. They helped me research my company. And so I came home and actually executed that publishing company with the help of a lady, and it went well. But I noticed that there was more need in other lanes, other places, like the inner city, the place that I come from. And so just knowing business and then understanding how to supply and demand, I just put them two together. And then I went out and started finding people more qualified than me, which is not hard to do, being that I only had a G according to normal scholastics. So when I say people more qualified than me, I mean the ones with the other letters behind their name, like PhD and all them other fancy people. And it's a bunch of beautiful Black people that have these letters behind their names, but they were bound up in jobs. You know what I mean? So I would go out and meet them, or they would meet me on social media, and I would discover that a PhD in this, or you are such and such in that, and I would try to borrow it from your brain. And so that's what you see now is a lot of me utilizing other people's strengths, other people's networks, other people's visions, and pulling them together with my own. And so then I just organized up under the same clause that everybody else do. Nonprofit organization, 501c3. I was an LLC for a couple of years. It was beneficial because I learned how to do business. I learned who I wanted to do business with. And then I reluctantly turned over into a nonprofit organization, which gave away some of the control of my organization. However, I'm director, executive director, and my board are people who watched me come up from the dirt. And so we have a family type of situation, not blood, but a kid, because we share common goals. So everybody on my board are people who I've come across in life that either in business or personal, your integrity and your morals were so intact that I knew if I ever made it anywhere, I would reach back and somehow get you. So my board is comprised of 3 women. One is a Caucasian woman and 2 men. And so I have a diversified board, and it also lends to the fact that I know that women make better unemotional decisions than men when it comes to things of a certain nature. We lead with our ego in business, like I'm gonna conquer them and take them over and suck them up under me and all that. Women be like, let's just be there and partner with them. And so when I know that I need to do good business, I lend to the women around me and say, hey, should I buy this? They be like, no, because you're only buying it because your ego. And with that being said, I've been kind of successful, sort of. I'm not going to ever claim success because I don't know what that looks like, but I'm going to keep trying to keep climbing with the same recipe that I'm applying and continue to do what I do. So if that kind of answers part of my before you fall answer. And then my sister, who is my father's youngest daughter, she is, I want to say 22, 23, maybe 22. Okay. And when I first met her, she was 2 years old. I came home from incarceration before, and she was like my baby. My daddy was still having kids. And then I went and did my long stretch, and then my sister became really close while I was locked up. And so when I came home, I used to try to figure out ways to help her grow, and she helped me grow. And my father passed, and he died a year and some change after I got out. So me and my little sister became like best friends because I felt like I needed to become her father figure, and she needed that. And so in doing so, she learned a lot about me. And when she realized how well I was respected in so many different walks of life, I'm not liked a whole lot, but I'm well respected. And when she realized that, she was like, so you the big homie for real? I'm like, yeah. And so she and I sit down and came up with a plan for her life. And that included her being the owner of an organization that would help create the mentors that I needed for the young men that I mentor. So she goes to school for social work right now. Shout out to her. She will be the first of my father's children to actually finish. Give her a round of applause, Lauren Ashley Shepherd. All of my father's children, with the exception of me, go to college because they had a great mother, you know what I mean? And she actually pushed them through. But all of them found a different route and never actually finished. This one, Lauren Ashley Shepherd, will be the first graduate, and she's the CEO of an LLC for-profit organization named Big Homies of America. And that stands for helping other members in every way succeed. And it's a personification of, I guess, me, utilizing all I've been through, all I've done to teach other men and other women how to mentor in a non-traditional way. not like the book with you, or not like your life coaching class with the certificate that you get when you do 6 weeks online. Not that way, but the way that comes organically from the experiences, and you don't need a piece of paper at all for people to understand that your method works because they see it in action. So my sister, shout out to her again, and my organization are brothers and sisters. My organization is the big, her organization is the little brother, but she gave me the privilege of being president of said organization. So I'm not the owner of any of this anymore, but I'm okay with that. You know why? Because I trust the board for Before You Fall, and I trust my sister as CEO of Big Homies of America. I can be the president and give it direction and blow wind in this sail. I got a beautiful, qualified vice president and a great sergeant at arms. So our organization, people think it's just a bunch of ragtag people running around. It's actually more than that. We have a lot of good quality contracts going on. We have great connections. We have a surplus. We have property. We have a farm where we are turning out vegetables. So a lot of what you see about us on social media is what we present, because we want to take you by surprise. We want you to try to come along with your little buddy, and then you say, well, do you got accountants? Absolutely. Do you have a budget? Absolutely. Do you have a board? Absolutely. Do you have minutes? Absolutely. Do you have a stability plan without grants? Absolutely. I've been stable the whole time. I've never been rocky in business. Now my personal life is suffering like everybody else, is doing well in business, because you put every dollar, every blood, sweat, and tear into your business. Like you start treating that like, because you just know, if I keep breathing life into you, one day you're going to get up and you're going to pay all my bills. And so that's my, and all of us know that that's how business looks. So I'm just now, after 4 years and some change of doing good business, not ruining business relationships that I wanted to keep. I can say that I've not lost not one business relationship that I wanted to keep. Not one. So I hope that somebody that's watching that maybe think he regret losing. No, I don't. I don't have those. What I do have is situations that I've been in that I wasted either too much time investing in while I was in it, or I put too much stock into what it would do for me if I was to get it. Did that make sense? I always think, well, all I need to do is meet such and such. As soon as I meet them, I'm going to blow. And I met the biggest person in my field early in my career. And I think that was God's way of telling me, now you can take all your hype off of this man because he's normal. And I'm going to make him treat you kind of normal after so long. And he hurt my little feelings, my biggest feelings. But it was Mike Dyson. He's an author, and he's one of the greatest orators, and he's an intellectual. He's on TV, and when he met me, he was thunderstruck by me. I mean, he made a whole video, talked about me for 1.5 minutes, and I had the ability to lead, to be the next everything. And he never saw me as no type of competition at all. I'm not alluding to that. What I'm alluding to is he was so busy in himself. He was so busy doing him that he didn't take the time to say, you know what, I'm going to take you with me a little bit so you can back where you from and really, really, really execute some change. So so that story is one I'm going to take with me, because I had his phone number for like 2.5 years. And I'm the type that you can give me your number and I'm never going to call you until I need you or I know what I want. I can articulate a point. I'm not calling you like, hey, my dude, shall you for dinner? It's not my business. If you wanted me to see it, you would do like 90% of the world, you would post it on your timeline. So I don't care what you eat. I don't care what you're doing, because it's not going to make me have a battle with it. But when I finally was ready, when Deshaun Reed got killed here in Indianapolis, Trajan, it made me decide, like, you know what? Might be a good time. And when I finally called, the number was different. And I was like Pac-Man noise, like beep, 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 beep. You know what I mean? So I inboxed Instagram a couple times and I started feeling kind of groupie-ish. So I was like, you know what? We catch up when we catch up. But I just said that to say that business looks different than meeting in person and getting thrust into the limelight. Because if you do that 9 times out of 10, you'll fail on the big stage anyway, because you would never know how to react. So I hope that answers your question about who I am, who we are as two organizations. And now I guess I can take the question.
You opened up so
many questions. Now I know you do not remember me because I was one of those people. I'd hide in the background whenever things are going on. There was a Young Black Men's Matters Day about 2 years ago. It was held by the what is it called? I see Indiana Commission on the Social Status of Black Men.
That was when I met him. That was then.
So when you were telling the story, I was like, I was there. I was hiding in the background, but I was there. So that was when I first became aware. No, I won't say that. That's not when I first became aware of him. That was the first time I heard him speak.
okay.
And that's when I first was just like, let's see what you're doing. I want to watch. I know, and at that point in time, I think I said that to you then.
Well, what you did was you sent me a flyer
Of his.
of the event.
Yeah.
Of the event, and what I did was I went to each one of the organizations that was listed on there, and when I got to before you called, I was like, and I started seeing his involvement with the young Black males. I was like, okay, I'm sold.
Right.
Because we have a lot of lip service and there's no boots on the ground. And so for me, I reached out to the organization 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Never said another word, but I've been watching and I've been following. And I, watched how when he went live a month or so ago, or, when he got caught up in a racial
At the hotel.
yeah, when he got caught up in a situation where he was racially profiled and the professionalism, I was like, now see, he's showing everyone this is how you deal with ignorant people.
Yeah.
And it was like the timeliness, I believe in divine timing. We believe in divine timing. And so when we reached out, we had no idea that the things of this week would be going on. But once again, divine timing.
We just had that conversation with him.
Right.
And I think. So I have watched you do so much in the community and have just been watching. Again, I'm one of those people that's always in the background. She's the voice. I'm always in the background. But I watched when COVID hit. Now I've been watching all this time. But one of the things that absolutely blew me away, when COVID hits and people there, some certain areas are food deserts. When COVID hit and you got on there and said, if you need it, let us know. And then y'all provided for so many countless families just within the community, just anyone who had heard your voice. And I mean, to even actually take food to people. And so in talking to some of our other people, they're like, that's somebody we want to get to know. That's an organization we want to see and want to become a part of. So of course we had to have you on here. Because, we also
Say, well, I missed the last part.
Huh?
I missed the last part you had said.
Oh, okay. And so that was why we decided that we had been talking and been watching and been following. But that's when we decided, like I said, some other people are like, well, we want to know more too. So that's when we said, okay, it's time for us to, because our importance right now, we're talking, Black men matter. And I mean, if nobody else has, stood up and said, hey, here I am, you see me, and I'm going to show these younger ones that come behind me. I mean, you personify that all by yourself. I mean, you have this amazing network that you have created. but I mean, you are, you know, like I said, you are a voice because you chose to come and give back.
And remain humble.
Yes, and remain humble.
Now,
So
no,
many of us
right.
no go
No,
to heaven.
what
Well,
questions or
I think
I'm
one
sorry,
thing
go
that's
ahead.
different, and I've not seen many times, but I'm not gonna have to come back or give back because I'm not gonna go nowhere. A lot of people, when they finally catch their rhythm or when they finally come into their self, they all of a sudden it's time to go or it's time to leave. One thing I do believe in, and I've used it a lot in my life, is I use my social capital to my advantage, whether it be when I was in the streets or whether it be when I was incarcerated. If I can lend my persona or my following to something to make it lend my way, why wouldn't I do it? You know what I mean? And so now that I'm in the position that I'm in, and I walk through the halls of hell, and when they said I would never come back or I would never make it back or he's gonna get a life sentence or he was gonna get this or that, here I come. So now that I make it back, what do I do with that? Do I take that and say, nanny nanny boo boo and throw rocks at the penitentiary and go back, or do I really walk away and show young black men that, hey, look this, check this out, 4 years of hard disciplined work, staying at it, going through regular life, tragedies happen, adversity. 4 years later, I can look back and say I own my house and I have possession of two of the nicer buildings I've ever been in. I have a group home, a shelter for men to stay in, come out of prison. I drive decent cars. You know what I mean? That's not nothing but to say what you want from life or what do you want from society. When you name it, I've been able to go get it. You know what I mean? Like I travel. I'm no stranger to airplanes and jet setting, and that's what it looks like. I don't broadcast it every time I do because I think that people show every meal that they go out and eat like, ooh, my plate look cute, don't it? Or it's expensive. I think you show that you've never been anywhere or you never had good food. So I say that to them. They see me every day. That's why they sitting here now. 15 of them live in this house that we in right now. Every day. That's not a scam. That's not some TV publicity that y'all be seeing. There's 15 young men that could otherwise be anywhere, but they're here. They could be the ones that can either be victim or a perpetrator of said, but they not. They right here. They could be the ones getting pulled over and misunderstood by the police, but they not. They right here. So my whole everything, whether they know it or not, is for them. I don't like hanging around a whole bunch of dudes. I did that already, but I'm willing to sacrifice some of my life to show them what it looks like. A lot of people tell them what it looks like. You supposed to do this and you supposed to do that, or here, read it in this book because I wrote it. Well, I wrote some books and I don't shove them down their throat. They work through my books here and there, and I push other stuff because other stuff might be good to you. My books are gonna be here. But if I wrote the book, you don't have to read the book. You can just watch me. I am the book. So, I think that's the difference. I think between when I see other people that start to catch they groove, and then they get stingy with the world. Like you've been asking to give to you, you've been praying to God for manifestation of all your dreams and destinies, and you wanted riches, and you had to sleep on somebody else's couch and drive somebody's car and borrow somebody's money. As soon as you get yours, all of a sudden you get forgetful, and now you like, oh, I gotta save up to get this big old house. But the people in your family still living in poverty and squat. So I think I'm different in that regard, and I want to show people that your money only is as good as you make it useful. You know what I mean? Like you can buy the biggest rim, the biggest car, the biggest house. But if you're not making your money useful where you can see it and not just for yourself, it'll soon run. You know what I mean? God don't care about you having individual wealth. He didn't create you to be individually better than everybody else. If you do more, you get more. When you get more, what do you do with it? That's the whole thing, you know. So, any other questions?
Well, I was going to ask Note if there was anything he wanted to ask or direct toward you.
I mean, there's nothing I really want to ask the brother. I just want to pay homage to him. We have a mutual friend that Shane may not know of. He's met me before, but he probably don't know. But Al B is like my big brother. That's my big brother. When I say Al B is my big brother, that's my big brother. So we're not friends on Facebook, but every time you do something, I watch and I listen. So I saw the situation when you had the young men and y'all were out at the pool and how they tried to play and react. I saw all that. And that's similar to what I'm doing. I have my own foundation now that once I get myself back together, you know, and said, because I suffered a stroke last year, and I'm just so COVID has been different for me, but seeing those young men behind you, the positivity that you bring, and I don't know if how you feel about, but like for me, I've been incarcerated as well. The youth now, I feel like we're responsible. My age, I'm 48. My age group and those we got finessed by the Master P's, the cash money, and we forgot about the kids. Not like our OGs did us. You know, we couldn't be on the block between 8 morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You better have been in somebody's school. Well, now we, instead of being that way, we've actually started putting the dope in these kids' hands. So it's actually good to see a brother out there and know that we do have some brothers that are out here really trying to make it a better way for our youth and for our kids. And not only that, to help break some of these generational curses that are going on through our communities right now. So again, brother, I just want to give you kudos, and I'm honored just to be sitting in this conversation, soaking up this knowledge from you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm gonna say Al B got to be 60 years old because he's everybody's big brother.
Yes, indeed.
But I do appreciate that, man, because one thing that I have learned, it is very hard for Black men to say positive stuff to and about other Black men. Like, it is extreme. It's like pulling teeth to get a grown Black man to say, hey, man, that brother's decent looking. Or, hey, man, that brother's got his act together. Or, hey, man, you doing positive stuff, and let alone say it out loud. So I applaud you for being, man enough to say, hey, man, I watch, I see, and I'm honored. So I appreciate that as well. And as far as Al B, I've always been a dude that was attracted to older dudes because I always needed somebody to be able to tell me when not to do something stupid. I'm always smart, but I could be so smart that I could be stupid. And Al B came along at the right time. Yes, ma'am. Oh, that's you too? But yeah, Al B came along at a time where I wasn't very trusting of men. You know what I mean? Because the only man that I ever really rocked with died on me, which was my father. And so I went replacing my father's persona with my mentors. You know what I mean? But what I did not have was somebody that related to me the same level. I mean, my father was kind of like brothers because he had an addiction that caused him to be immature in his later years as far as thinking. And so me and him was kind of more like brothers. So I never had nobody since he'd been gone I could just tell about my wins. Because you know how hard it is to call another man and tell him about a victory without him saying, man, I don't want to hear that. Or, I mean, you know how negative Black men are. Just, we can be. I'm not going to just put that on Black men. I'm going to put that on men, period. We have a difficult time expressing ourselves. We have a difficult time saying, I am hurt, or I am sad, or any of that. So when I'm happy and I'm overjoyed about some wins in a room full of people who hardly get them, it's hard to share them. But when I Al B was like, you ain't jealous of me? Like, what? That's shocking. And that's not saying there's nothing special about me, but anytime you do halfway well, create an envy amongst people who should never even be jealous of you because we come from the same cloth. So all that was just to say how solid of a dude Al B is. Or is Denzel Washington. One of the two. Either you a hell of an actor because you got me fooled, or you really a solid dude. Like, it's only one or the other with this dude. Because sometimes I sit back and I think, like, I never had no good friend, no good dude friend that's dependable like that in a legit world. Like, I never had. I had good crook buddies. I know if I say, hey man, look, we ready to go on the juke, they coming, but to say we about to help 20 kids go out to the pool and I don't got the money, so can you kick in? And he pull up, different type of dude. So I rock with him in a big way. And I don't want to keep talking. I don't want to think, I'm getting mushy and nothing, but I understand the sentiments about the big fella. Different.
Black women, we appreciate
and it's hard to rock with me. No doubt. And it's hard to rock with me, whether you male or female. So anybody see with me more than once, they pretty tough. You know what I'm saying? Because like my work ethic is unbelievable. I never sleep. You know what I mean? Even when I'm asleep, you can ask them. I'm planning what's gonna happen. So when I wake up, I just grab a pen and write it down. Or I jump up and text my business partner. Yeah. So that's when Craig will create when everybody else is snoozing. So I don't sleep, you know what I mean? So she understands. So you get it. So and another thing I want to add to that is extremely hard on relationships. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I would say to people. If you want business, if you want to be successful, the person that you choose to either date, mate, whatever you call it, that person has to almost be in that same vision. Like if my man here's him. If he's on the radio and he's doing audio, his girl need to be the one plugging up the cords, or she need to be the owner of the station. She need to be involved. Because if not, they'll deviate somehow. He will have to choose his pursuits, but if he look over there and she the one behind the keyboard, like, talk to him, baby, the life will be better. So I learned that in this business I'm in, when you help people that oftentimes don't appreciate it or cannot give you nothing in return, your spouse and mate will look at you like, are you retarded? Like, are you really about to get up and go outside at 12:30 because some little boy somewhere in smoked too much Katie and he tripping with a gun? Yeah. I'm going. And so it cost me, it cost me and has cost me relationships. It's not even just it was friendships in the streets. I had a partner of mine, man. I love him to death. But I'm too positive now. You know what I mean? And this person has far to say that. Like, I can't change that much because you know who we used to be. But I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, facts. You can all the way change. You can let your guard down. You can be normal. You can be Mr. Rogers. You can really wake up and wave at the people next door, and they not know that you was a crook. It's not on your forehead. So I've been shunned by some friends where they don't even want to rock with me no more. And when I tell you, I've been hurt by some stuff, but to get hurt by being too good, that's crushing. Like when somebody tell you I don't want to be with you because nigga, you're a positive influence, it's like, God, leave. But guess what? I told you I don't sleep anyway, so I definitely don't lose nothing about that. You know what I mean? I just have to get up, like we said in the Bible, push your sandals off. And I don't even look for family no more. I look for the family that I was born into. I don't look for bloodline. I create family, you know what I mean? Like purposely, methodically, and safely. And that's one piece of advice I would like to give everybody. If the family you was born into is not conducive for the new you, I'm gonna say they will be whatever it may be. If the family you was born into is not conducive for the new you, sit back and think, okay, I need another Big Mama because Big Mama gone to the grave. And you go find you one. And you pull close to Big Mama. And you start going to the grocery store for Big Mama. Once or twice, next time she be calling your phone. Boy, have you ate? You be like, it sounds just like Big Mama calling my phone. No, I ain't ate. Well, come on over here and get you some of these collard greens. You gave them to me. Help do the food drive, get the collard greens, and then call you to come and eat them. So, and just in this life, man, you got to make your friends. You have to create your circles. You have to create your situations. You can't walk into other people's circles because you just never know the hierarchy. You know what I mean? These people got clubs and memberships out here that you ain't bust into. Like me, all the good work I do, I just can't seem to bust through to certain cliques and clubs. Like, it's a bad taste for preachers. They just like, you know what? You're not saved. I'd be like, what does that mean? Like, I can't hang out. I got a first lady. I mean, like, she can dress up and be cute. We can sit up in the church and tell about how good it's been, but I never seem to be, I can't hang in that club. So I say, well, I want to hang at the after hour. I go up in there looking like the police walked in the building like, you don't be doing this no more. Get out, homie. You the leader of the streets. We need you to be safe. Just get out, man. Please go home, because it's so. I'm like, nigga, I can't even hang in the club. I can't hang with the preachers. So guess what? I gotta hang with 50-year-old mechanics named Al B. So, you know,
Create our own. I feel you. Create our own way.
yeah, so it's a bad look, but you know, when you become different or you try something different, you're not gonna fit in no molds.
Right.
If you think that's what celebrities, quote unquote, whatever that word means, that's when they get their feelings hurt because they go off and they find these new circles and they be bougie as outdoors, cut their mustache off, start laughing different, get their teeth all fixed. They don't want that little crooked joint no more. So they come back to the hood. You know what I mean? They come back, your teeth moving star straight, you eating Grey Poupon. You know what I mean? You looking down on how much grease, you looking down on my grease cane. My grease cane on my stove the whole time you've been in Hollywood. Now you don't want to rock with my grease cane no more.
That Crisco.
You hear me?
Right.
We know about that
So,
to get those super fire grilled cheese sandwiches and that macaroni. See, don't play.
Yeah, can't eat out of plate.
I got one more confession too. I learned something. I learned something for us as downtrodden, disenfranchised people. Now, it's not just blacks. It's for everybody from every nationality. Here's a fact. Because I don't have a lot, but I'm not check to check, and I can go where, I can eat when I feel like eating, and I can eat what I want to eat. I'm going to say that. Your taste buds don't change when you're not poor no more. You still like the same. You hear me? Like, I be wondering, how to go from your whole life, you've been liking smothered pork chops, green beans, baked, whatever you've been eating. Now, all you want is medium rare steak and a little bitty potato joint with the 2 Brussels sprouts hanging off of it with some sauce that you can't identify, pour it on the side of your plate, and they're going to charge you $115 for that. But they're going to talk real nice to you while they do it. Hello, they're going to have a little napkin on their arm, and it's going to be sizzling. You're going to hear it burning. I'll be like, bro, I don't want that. Where's that restaurant they took me to when I was cutting the meat off? Oh, so they took me to Fogo. And I'm not against Fogo. But Fogo was a little different for my taste, right? They had good food, but it was the way that they made me go about getting it. Like, they was standing there, like, cutting it off. I'm like, bro, put knives on here and go head on so I can talk to my people while we in it. I think you ruining my experience now. Just cut up. I said, what is this? He said, this lamb. I tasted it. I said, yeah, lamb me on up. He said, no. You little, no, I don't. You trying to make me want a bunch of stuff that I've never had. Just put some on my plate, give me some mashed potatoes, and move on. So I wanted to say this. If you finally get wherever we think we going, your little taste buds don't change. So your friends and the people that you like to be around shouldn't. Maybe the ones that commit or do stuff might get you into foolishness. But if you done made it up somewhere, still be looking around for people like yourself. Still trying to find people that laugh at the stuff that you think is funny.
Right.
Even if they white, black, whatever. I don't like people that try to force themselves. I tell this to them. Don't force yourself into a square if you're a circle.
Right.
Don't do that. Be uniquely a circle Get in where you fit in. If you don't fit there, stand there long enough and watch a bunch of people like you pop up in the same place because they don't get there either.
Right.
That's my science.
And
So,
we've got some comments
young
on
men are listening.
Yeah, we got some comments on here while you were talking. We had one that popped up where Annette was saying, you know, kudos to you, Mr. Shepherd. Then when Note was, complimenting you, she was, you know, saying that's 100, you know, and I agree. It's hard when you have, you know, men that are afraid or ashamed to give kudos to another brother.
Yeah.
So mad respect.
So Annette,
Well, thank you.
so when you were talking about the guys who couldn't hang with you anymore, does that mean they have issues themselves if they don't want to be around you while you're being good people?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I discovered that because, my group started to let me know. My new family started to point it out to me, like, maybe we should pull you away from. And I told them, now, if a person makes me pick based on, you know, whatever I got going on in my life, then we can't be friends for real, no one. So I do have to walk along, and I always knew that, you know, you can't take people with you. But the funny thing is, like, I'm not going up to the point where I feel like I'm something special. I'm right where I've always been. But I think they're saying you can't take everybody with you mentally. Everybody's not going to go with you mentally. So mentally, I'm different now. So, you know, I'm okay with that. So tell Miss Annette, known as Annette, thank you for the comment. Thank you for the 100 symbol. That's one of my favorite emojis because I feel like I keep it like that. So tell her I said thank you. I appreciate that.
She can hear you. So when I become rich, I'm going to be bougie. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
No, it's not.
I'm still eating slams. I don't care. I'm still eating slams.
Look, that's what I'm about to say. You gonna like what you like. You're gonna learn some new things, and you're gonna like them new things. But I'm gonna tell you, at the end of the day, that, you know, my daughter be like, "Oh, I want this steak. I want this." I'd be like, "I'm about to go in here and fix me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich." She's like, "Aren't you a little?" Are you sure that that's what you want? I'm about to go fix me a PB&J, and you got to leave me alone. So no.
I think I noticed more so with any other person in the world that showed me what money would do. There you go.
There you go, big bro. There you go, big bro. You already know it, big bro.
Yeah, you know.
And he's not lying because all you got to do is look at Facebook and it will be on the bed with him, with the dog,
Definitely.
watching TV with your big old up, eating the slam.
Now we have another message, and then I want to hit whatchamacallit. Annette says, "You're welcome, sir, and I appreciate you, Mr. Shepherd. Continue doing what you do." Now, I want to tell you, Annette, you're talking about that network of people. Annette, Michelle, the actress, you know, they, along with this one, they are my checkers. Those ones that's like, look, okay, your posts are going left, or you not saying anything. What's going on with you? What's happening? You know, those ones that can see beyond what you do or don't post. You know what I'm saying? Those ones that feel you when something is not quite right. You know, those are some of the ones that check. Okay, Nadine. Now you know. Look, do you need to go take your nerve medicine? Do I need this one? Do I need to fix you a cocktail because you seem a little stressed? You know, so you know it's good, like you said, to have in your world that know you well enough to say, okay, look, all this is good, but let me check you. Because there have been times where my nerves was bad and she heard me snapping off on my husband. She's like, now look, now you know you down bad. That man did not deserve you coming at him like that. And I'm like, but you have to appreciate those people that are going to be real with you, because the ones that are real with you are the ones that genuinely love you. And I want to, before we get out of here, we still have about 15 minutes. With all the things that are going on right now, I want to hit on, not so much as the event of what happened with Mr. Blake. I drank my kava tea, so my nerves, they're not shot right now. I'm a little calm. I drank my kava tea, so, some of it, most of it.
I need you to take another swig after you tell them what you want to talk about.
But I want to hit on, how that experience. Okay, here it is. You got a man that's shown up. What really confirms me about the whole scenario is when the cops were called, it had nothing to do with him. He was diffusing the situation, but the cops automatically went for him as if he was the problem. Now, anybody that knows me and that knows Keith, but especially those that know me, I'm very protective of my Black man. He don't have to be my man. I have mine, but all of y'all belong to me. Old, young, middle age, all mine. And I took personal offense to him for them coming for him. Let me just be nice with how I say this. For them coming for him when he wasn't even the problem. Now, as young men, and I'm saying young because, I know you got your young fellas right there, and I'm pretty sure you all have had discussions like this before. When you're talking to them and when you're mentoring them, how do you convert the realities of just simply not having any control over people being butt cracks because you are who you are born to be, to it doesn't matter what they think and how they feel. This is how you present yourself. This is how you carry yourself. And I go back to when you were racially profiled and you had the cops called on you when you hadn't done anything. So how do you translate those events and those scenarios over to our young brothers so that they will know you may be justified in knocking the hell out of somebody, but in today's society, you have to know how to hit back and when to hit back.
Well, I think I'll take two examples of that. One to lead up to that. When my sister was murdered, the whole West Side stood still for a minute. Like, oh my God, this man's sister got murdered. He about to have an adverse reaction. And I honestly knew that everybody was waiting and watching and holding their breath. So I had to do something with that energy that I had. So I went and made a video. And at that time, it was the most watched video I had. It was like 19.2 thousand people watched the video. And me, I was like, damn. Like that reached out. But what I said on the video was that I was responsible as the man of my family for not only how I react, but how I allow those around me to react. So I have to show as I go through this, not only my family, but the young men who I was responsible for mentoring at the time. So oftentimes it'd be easy to say certain stuff. Like a lot of us got really good lip service. And I'm a good talker. I can talk with the best of them, but I kind of pride myself on being a doer. always been a doer. I don't care which lane I was in. When it came time to do, I was willing to do. So I said all that to say, at this my way of showing them or trying to help correspond who we are and what we're going through as a society is to just don't always just be the one that orates every move that you're gonna make, but just get up every single day and put your shoes on, one foot in front of the other in the best way you can, and still be a black man, and still be racially profiled, and still be stereotyped, but yet don't succumb to those pressures. You know what I mean? When I was there that day at the hotel with my youth, I was never for 1 second afraid. Not at all. Not even when they was talking about calling them when they pulled up. I think fear is something that's sensed and recognized in other people's spirits. So my interaction with law enforcement would be different from other people's. Even when you're trying, I'm not really that scared. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to show them that I'm not afraid of law enforcement. I'm gonna know how to deal with them when they come. I'm gonna articulate myself. The police was some BS. If you go watch the tape, as soon as he pulled up, he looked at me and was like, "What?" I'm like, "Nothing. Go talk to him first." Because there's two sides to every story. So I wanted them to see that I'm not intimidated or afraid of the police because he's just a man with a uniform and a job. He clocks out like I do. So I'm not afraid of him. He's to be given respect and certain level of, I think, reverence because he's got a gun and they known for gunning down black males. But however, they don't cast no fear because if that's the case, black men as well, because they got a reputation too for gunning down other black males, which I think is horrendous and horrific. So when they came, we was more so, I laughed because I was like, bro, y'all tripping. Y'all really don't know what y'all dealing with or doing. But I at the end of it, let it go. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I didn't want to become something that was exclusively, solely just about Shane Shepherd. I had already been through enough that week. The world was going crazy with what was going on in our Minneapolis. To me, that was relatively minor. The boys really never knew what was going on until the end because I kind of kept it away from them and for them to let them out the room. And they were like, we was locked in there, and here you was. So again, I think deal with stuff according to plan and try to do as much as I say. If I say it, try to do it. And if I don't do it, at least give my all at making an attempt at getting it done. So are y'all still there? They are there. Y'all had it on the screen jump out.
No.
But yeah, that's kind of how I do that, man. There's no blueprint like the parenting guide. There's no way to be you know what I mean? I think the movie that showed me that was Beast of the Southern Wild. Anybody saw that movie? With a little girl back in the day, and she was, oh my God, that movie would make me cry. Because I thought when I first watched it, he was raising her as a horrendous parent. Like, oh my God, you're a terrible father. But when he died and she had to still grow in that environment, it fully prepared her for it. She was fully equipped to be a thriver in that environment. And so I said that to say there's no blueprint on parenting. Nobody could have wrote it up and could teach her how to beast and tear the stuff open with her hand and eat it, but that was where she was. So I don't know how to teach them what I know besides to show them. All these young men, I can tell them everything until I'm blue in the face, but they see him right here. Oh, he on this side. That's how they do me. That right there. To me, that's symbolic. It looks like he's rested and tired, but that's how they study me around here. Every move I make, and we live together. So I know all they flaws, they know all my flaws. I be telling like real parents, well, don't make me get you now. Man, not go out this house and tell them. But I wouldn't have it no other way with them, man. I love them. I can meet them on the first day and tell whether they good or bad seeds. I don't know if that's a gift, a blessing. I don't know what that is, but I know which ones cannot live here. You cannot live on this roof, young man. You will hurt me as soon as I go to sleep. No. And you know it when you meet them, like, oh, no. You can do day programming. You can
Discernment.
come 9 to 5, but you your son, so go back with her. But all these you see here are, to me, these are my misunderstood ones. These are the ones I see we only got 5 minutes. I'm gonna just take 2 and give to see who these people are. These are the ones that society deems to be unredeemable. So I'll throw you away, or I'll kneel on your neck, or I'll murder you, or I'll incarcerate you and warehouse you in inhumane conditions until you die. That's what these young men are. When they come to me, I get a list from their parents about what they are. He's a liar. He's a thief. He steals. He can't be trusted. He smokes in my house. He has sex. And I don't listen. I do like this, like a kid, like, I don't want to hear that, right? And so I get them in the room. I say, do you see how your mama introduced me to you? Do you see what she said to a total stranger about you? Why would she come here and tell me those things to her own child? How fast can we make her out to be a liar, right? And all I realized after so long is if you hug them, love them, and feed them, that's what they've been missing. Hug them, love them, and offer them some food. You can't get rid of them at all. I've been trying to get rid of them. It's 90 days. I'm ready for him to go. However, I won't push him out the nest until he can flap his wings. I won't do it. I stopped liking his individuality probably about like 4 weeks ago. That's the good way of saying you stopped liking the kid. I stopped liking his individuality about a month ago. But I still love his individuality because it ain't for me to like. His essence is God's, and it's for me to shape up a little bit. And when you can flap, get on out of here, Ray. Hurry up. And I ain't gonna never say don't come back. Come back as often as you need to. But right now, I think you're well enough to go back with your mama. Go ahead. But not a day before. Not a day before he's comfortable there. And he's not one that's uncomfortable in his mom's house. I'm not saying that about him. I'm saying I won't put no child in an environment where they're uncomfortable. I almost got in trouble for harboring a runaway one time because I wouldn't put him in a situation where I knew he was going to be in a risk way. So I see y'all got a few minutes. I know I will bust for y'all situation. I'm going to say I thank y'all for having me. If you want to reach me, Shane Shepherd, tell Miss Annette, it's SHEPHERD, like leader of the sheep herder. And so you can find me on Facebook at Shane Shepherd. And before you fall, it's www.4UFALL.org. If you go on there, you will see a link that says donate today. If you hit the link, it don't automatically take your money. It'll letter come open and show you what we doing in this program with these young men and why we are not governed by the state, CPS or DCS, and why we need your help around the country to continue this mission. With a $50 recurring donation a month, 100 people will pay the bills here. The rent's $400 and the bills come up to $1,000. So if you say, how can I help? That's how. And if you can't do it, rent's $4,000 and the bills are $1,000. And if you cannot do it, use your social capital. Use your friend who always in your face like, girl, I like that dress. If you like it so much, then help me help a cause that I care about. Help a young man in need. Or you can't take me nowhere. You want to take me on a date? Take me over to Shane Shepherd's and take me to pick some fresh zucchinis out of his garden and leave a donation.
Oh, well, I need to come holler at you for real then, because
That's what
we'll get that address and all of that stuff as soon as we get off the air.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple of comments before we wrap. It said his program sounds better than Job Corps. He seems like he can actually, I'm sorry, I can't read today, reach the young men's minds and help them make a change for the better. And then follow up with that was Michelle Thomas. Yeah, he seems to be more personable with them, which is a big deal. And Mr. Al was saying for you to introduce the fellas. And what Ned said to tell you.
You know what? I would love to. As I send them out the room, I'm gonna introduce. Come on, stand up. Say your name. Get down just a little bit so they can see you. Say your name.
Ray.
And tell them how neighborhood you from.
14.
And what neighborhood you from. Rep your city, boy.
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Next man. I know. You know.
I'm with James. I'm from the land. I'm 14.
Lil James, 14 from the land. That's west side and east side. Next man up. And y'all can look at this cameraman.
Wait.
You just scoop down a little bit. Just scoop. Just scoop down.
My name, 14. I'm from Gary.
Oh, okay. Got Caleb. Lil Johnny, come on.
My name Montana, and I'm from the land, and I'm 14.
That's Lil Johnny. He might say Montana. That's Lil Johnny Jordan in the field. Yo, you got to look up to see this one.
My name's Jesse. I'm 16. I'm from Chicago.
Okay, Jesse in the building. Who is this coming up?
14. I'm from the third.
You heard what he said? Hey, listen to what he said. He said, I'm Cortell the Birds. About time you played them summer. Come on, Kwan. You better do you. You better be you. It's your time to shine, baby. Who is you? You better say it. How your sign look? Show me your sign, baby. It's your time. You missed it. Show me your sign one time. Oh, come on, next.
My name is Kel. I'm 14. And I'm
That's two girls in the building. Let's go. Next man up. Post Road and I don't know what.
I'm Kel. I'm from out east.
Out east, nah, that's too. Where at out east? Where? And what?
I don't know.
The man living. The man said, get on out here. The man said, I'm from 34th. I said, where is he? I don't remember from where. Come on, last man. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Robert. I'm 14. And I'm from everywhere.
Yes, this is my son's biological brother, and his father is no longer with us in the physical, but he's been with us ever since we decided that, you know what, you old enough to come out from up under your mama's skirt, come on. So this is one of my SUNs, one of my sons. He is, in fact, from the whole city of Indianapolis. So that's OG Robert right there. And last but not least, come on. Come on, last two. Come on. Yes, come on. We're going to get on our TV show. Get on in there.
I'm Ryan.
I forget, that's LaQuan. My business.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Thank
No.
you for taking the time, showing our boys something different, exposing them. Everybody reach back. It's a lot of Indianapolis under one roof. So thank you. I'm Misha. I'm the business partner. I represent too.
Right, yeah, where you from? Where you from?
Represent the west side, Indianapolis, west side of
Hard part, you know. I already know he told me to go. I'm Shane Shepherd. I am from the hard part. I will always be. But I incorporated my neighborhood. Used to be called the hard part. That was a little piece of dirt on Hardy. Now it stands for having a real part of a real team. So I am the incorporation and personification of the hard part, and I rep it to the day I die. So that's us.
Thank you all so much, and ladies.
Peace.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate you all. And I'm saying, you know, look, we're on our own time, but, you know, we try to keep it pretty close to an hour. But when it's a couple comments I want you to see. And this is actually coming from
The DC area. And he says this program should be in all 50 states, especially our major cities for our youth.
And he's also from the Baltimore.
Well, not to toot our own horn, but we are attempting to create that prototype right now. So we right now just wrote for a grant to try to create what we calling this Before You Fall University, to try to show that this is the way to reconciliation with our young Black boys in normal society. So we are trying to do that, and if we can find more people, and I ain't talking about money. Money ain't always it. Lend your voice. That gentleman that made that comment, tell him don't make that comment on Facebook and let that just be a comment. Try to make that happen wherever he's at. To come where he's at, bring the program, and we can start it there, and then we'll take it to the next place. So I appreciate the faith. I appreciate that vote of confidence from that Black man, and I agree with him too. So.
Yeah, then you had a few Chi-Town people that was hollering out like, yeah, Chicago in the house, Chi in the house, when you had the young men coming through, you know, what have you. So, but we appreciate you. This will, you know, not be the last time that we have you come through. We really, really appreciate. No, is there anything you want to say before we give Mr. Shepherd the parting words?
Again, just kudos to you, King. Big ups, appreciate, keep doing what you do. Like I said, I'm in the midst of starting my own foundation where I'm going to have I already have 2 of them in place. I got 5 people that are going to be mentoring our kids and helping them become masters in carpentry, mechanics, plumbing, bricklaying and masonry, and 4 technicians to put our kids in a position that even if they don't want to go to school, once they graduate from high school or whatever they're doing, they're already equipped to not start behind the 8 ball. So now you're not starting at $9, $10 an hour. You're a master electrician. You can go demand at 19 years old, $20, $25 an hour because you put in that work and you have that certification. So again, you're an inspiration to me, brother. And I appreciate what you're doing. Big brother Al knows me very well. He knows how I feel about this with the kids. I am a certified national mentor myself. So again, I appreciate what you're doing. Once I recover from this stroke and I get myself back together, I'm in the field 110 with you, brother. So again, kudos to you and your team.
Well, I'm finna challenge you now, Big Nate, Power 42. Everything you just said is what I'm looking for right now, to wrap around on the back end of what I'm doing. So if you have those connections, you can still be where you at, doing what you do, and we can have it moving by the time you do get back up. So your brain's still working. I don't care nothing about your body being able to catch up. You can take your time and fix that on your own. Right now, I want to get you back in the game. So what we waiting on now, Big Nate? No, Big no. What we waiting on?
501c4. I'm not doing the C3. I'm doing the C4 because I'm in that man. Like if I find a man such as yourself that I feel could do something good in the political realm, my organization will have the ability to push that candidate and support that candidate. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working with an attorney out of Atlanta, and it's going to cost me a pretty penny. So that's what I'm raising right now. But by the end of this month, Power 42, the Power Foundation will be a physical 501c4 organization ready to do work.
And Mr. Shepherd, that's not the first time I've heard
under the great coupon with the pinky finger up there. Hey, under the great coupon, under the pinky finger up there. I heard you with the 501c4 and this administration. You hear me? Yeah, I'm working with attorneys and you need. So you hear me? When you get ready, then you come out at little old me. And I'm gonna stay with the C3. You hear me? So I like
the difference between the C3 and the C4 is the political aspect of it. That's the only difference. Because I want to be able, because we get enough. There's like right now, there's no third party candidate that gives a damn about us. You know what I'm, brother? There's no third party candidate that really has our interests at heart. So if that day comes up and happen, hey, yeah, we want to help you get there because we got to be able to do something better than what we're doing. gotta be able to do something better than what we're doing. And where you starting at, brother, again, big ups, kudos to you, Al B, your whole team. Hey, bro, you know I love you too, big brother. You already know it's nothing but love when it comes to you, big brother.
Well, Mr. Shepherd, I want
We
to,
thank y'all for having us.
and I'm going to let Key say whatever she needs to say. Then I'm gonna give you the. You don't have anything else to say. The fact that you all have connected, that is so much a part of who we are.
And I will be reaching out to you, Mr. Shepherd, because just some of the things that Note mentioned and some of the things that you have mentioned, there are some connections that I have that I know will want to at least have conversations with the two of you.
I want some zucchini, so we definitely gonna reach out.
Well, we're gonna do that too.
I'm just saying.
Well, we'll be on it. I'll be waiting to hear from you.
All
Okay.
right then. Well, thank you all so very much for tuning in to this thing called Life. You all be blessed, everyone.
Okay. I like that show.
Yeah.